Hey guys, so you just bought Granblue Fantasy Versus, or you just downloaded the free version and you want to hop in and play, but maybe you're a bit scared that your technique is not as polished, or maybe you don't know what's going on or something. So today I'm going to bring you 8 tips that you can use as a beginner to survive in the lower ranks or with people from your level. So a quick disclaimer first thing, I'm not an expert in this game. Like, I'm also like a mid to low level player, so take these tips with a bit of a grain of salt. Second, I'm going to be using Ran as an example because I just have the free version of the game. So, but this knowledge can still be applied to all characters. So you just want to experiment with your character, hop on training mode, and just try to do stuff. And thirdly, there will be timestamps in the description, so if you want to skip to a particular tip, you can do that. However, I'm gonna try to tie everything together, so if you can watch the whole video, I would really appreciate it. Without further ado, let's just get started. So the first technique, it's a tip that is going to help you kind of like slow down the game, slow down the pace. So let's say you're playing your game, you're doing your neutral grounded footsies, and suddenly bam, your opponent jumps and they hit you, and they whiff punish your attack. So jumping in this game is generally bad. It's like a big risk that you take because you can get anti-aired, and that is the first tip. It's learning how to anti-air. So universally, all characters down heavy or 2H is an anti-air because it has air invincibility. So all attacks in the air that collide with it, they're always going to lose because this is invincible to them. So for example, I just press the 2H and it loses. There is also DPs, which are dragon punches, and most of them have air invincibility, but not all characters have DPs. So for example, the DPs are good because they cover a lot of space. You see how Gran is jumping. So for example, if he's just jumping, I can just press my DP and get an anti-air that way too. And finally, if you want to be an asshole like me, you can do an air throw. But it's really not that great because they can take the throw in the air and it doesn't lead to a lot of damage. But you assert a lot of dominance if you go for an air throw. However, it is not just enough that you anti-air people. You really want them to not jump. You want to discourage jumping as much as possible because it is a huge risk, right? So the second tip is kind of an extension of the first tip, and that is to learn an anti-air combo, even if it is a simple one. So for example, with Gran, I can do this. And you see that is 4100 damage as opposed to simply pressing 2H, which is 1300. So you want to do damage so that they say like, oh my god, jumping is risky, I better stay grounded. And your combo doesn't have to be anything too fancy. I just do like a 3-hit honk combo because it has a lot of corner carry and I can still stay on top of them and pressure and do my stuff. Now of course you have to be careful with anti-airs, because it's not completely brainless. You can just press this button because like if you press it too early, she's going to punish me, and if I press it too late, I will simply lose. Like the attack just won't come out. So you really want to find like a sweet spot in between the jump arc that you press your button. So generally speaking, when they are at the top of the jump, you press the button, and as you can see, you will always win. And another recommendation is, for example, right now she jumps and she presses a button, so when I do my anti-air, it's a counter hit, but you won't always have that counter hit. So for example, if she were to just jump and do nothing else and I anti-air, you see how she flips out, right? So from that flip out you cannot combo. So my recommendation is to react. So just do the crouching heavy, and if you see the big red flash, just do your combo. As you can see, 4100, I took them to the corner, and now you can discourage jumps pretty easily with that. So now you've discouraged their jumping, and they want to stay grounded and play grounded footsies with you. So congratulations, right? Being on the ground is where you're going to spend most of the time in the game. This is a very grounded game. So my tip is for neutral, and that is understanding turns and ranges. So for this, we're going to want to turn on frame information. You will see Gran has like little colors, and I will explain this briefly. So when you're playing in neutral, you don't really want to use your lights because even though they're fast, they don't have a lot of range. But you want to stick to your mediums because you see it has a lot of range, and your heavies also have a lot of range. And so you're going to want to play kind of here, right? So as you can see, if I press my button, Gran turns red. That means I am minus, so it is my opponent's turn. Something that they don't tell you about fighting games is that secretly they are turn-based RPGs. So as you can see, this is negative. My heavy is also negative, but my crouching medium is +1, so that means that I get to act first. So for example, I guess a common situation, let me set it up correctly, is, you know, you're playing, you're just outspacing your opponent, and suddenly you want to hit them with a medium, but then you try to do it again, but they block it. You see how I got counter hit, right? That is because my move is negative, and they get to act before me, so whatever button they press, it's going to be faster than mine, because they get to act first, right? So, you know, the tip really is to understand when you can press and when you have to just wait and block. So for example, if I press my medium and I try to press another button, it's not going to work. I will get hit no matter which button I press. But if I hit medium and then I block, I will not get punished. It is simply, you simply just need to understand that it is not your turn to press. However, well, the story is different with plus buttons. As you can see, if you remember, my crouching medium is +1. So if I do a medium and then another button, it is my turn. So if they press something, they will get counter hit, as you can see. But of course, numbers is not everything when it comes to the game. You can also have ranges, which is why the tips is turns and ranges. So if you remember, my medium is negative, but let's say I hit the maximum range of my medium. Did you see how her attack just whiffed? It just missed. So this is something called a spacing trap, and it is a strategy that implies that if I hit my opponent at the maximum range of my attacks, then their attacks will whiff, and you can then whiff punish. Now, something important is that this game introduced dash attacks, so while you're dashing, if you press a button, you will do an attack. A different attack, that is. So this is my light, this is my dashing light, this is my medium, this is my dashing medium, this is my heavy, this is my dashing heavy. It's different attack. So almost universally, all dashing lights are plus. As you can see, it is +2. And if you remember, I can press first when I am plus. So let's set up the exact same situation. They're gonna hit standing in after they block, and if I press an attack, just pretty much any attack, I'm gonna win the exchange because I am plus. You see that how they're getting counter hit, right? That means that my attack is faster than theirs. This even works. Here she's pressing standing medium, but I'm gonna make her press crouching light, and if I press my crouching light, it's still going to be faster because I am plus. So you really want to understand when it is your turn and when it is not your turn to press. Which leads me kind of into my next tip. I mentioned that dashing lights are pretty strong in this game, but you need to know how to stop them in order to deal with the game, because if you can do this to the opponent, they can also do it to you if you don't know how to stop it. So let's say you're at a neutral situation, and here Digita just wants to dashing light, right? So what I'm going to do is called a buffer cancel, and that is the third tip, is using buffer cancels in neutral. So in essence, a buffer cancel is just this. As you can see, it looks like I just whiffed a heavy, but if you see the input display here on the left, I press heavy and then a special. So what this does is that on whiff, like if I hit nothing, my attack won't come out, but if I hit something, my attack will come out. And in Granblue Fantasy, when you're dashing, you cannot block for a period of time after dashing. You can attack instantly, you can spot dodge, you can do your dash attacks, but you cannot block. So for example, if someone is dashing at me, I can do a buffer cancel, and it'll hit them if they step into my range. So if I'm just standing here and I do my buffer cancel, nothing will happen, right? But if she's trying to dash at me and I do my buffer cancel, I will hit her once she steps into range, and because she cannot block, she will get hit. And that is how you beat people just trying to dash at you. If they want to do your dash light and just do stuff in your face, you can stop it using buffer cancels. But of course, you want to be careful, because as you remember, when Digita whiffed, I could whiff punish her. So if you're just in neutral, just doing this all day, people are going to punish you. So of course, be careful in how you use the move and this strategy. So now, let's say that you're a god, you know, you're playing your game, sorry, you're doing your stuff, and somehow you land in the corner. Like, you get them to the corner, and now it's your turn to do your offense. So now, let's say, I guess this is a pretty common situation if you're a beginner. You know, you get them on the corner, maybe you knock them down, and you run in to do your pressure, and something kind of like that happens, right? So you're trying to do your offense, you're trying to do your thing, and you get counter hit. So the tip is to use frame traps in order to stop mashing. So if you remember when I talk about frame advantage, some moves are negative, some moves are plus, and stuff like that. So when you're in the corner and when you want to do pressure, the basis of pressure in Granblue Fantasy is your closing light, because as you can see, you are +4. So whatever button your opponent hits, it's going to pretty much lose to everything that you have. So let's say, for example, right now Digita, I'm going to program her so that once she's out of blockstone, she's going to press her crouching light. So if I do something like this, as you can see, all of that is a true block string because she did not press. But as you might imagine, I can leave a large enough gap in order to have her press the button, but because I am plus, whatever button she presses is not going to come out, and I'm going to win the exchange. So I'm going to do close lights and then delay and press close light again. You see, she got counter hit, right? So you can do something like this, and she will always get hit. And well, if they get hit, you can convert it into a combo. Something like that. So really, you want them to discourage mashing, right? Because when you are in your offense, you don't want them to be just mashing their buttons and pressing stuff. You want them to respect your offense so that you can reset your pressure, you can go for more stuff. So for example, let's say that she no longer presses. You know, you are just frame trapping her, and you did a combo, and now she doesn't want to press. So now you can start to build offense off of these plus frames. So for example, I can do 1, 2, 3. Now I'm back here. I can do 1, 2, dash in again, 1, 2 to try to stuff a button. I can do 1 into a throw. I can do 1, 2, dash in 1, throw. I can do like 1, 2 into an unblockable. So really, this is, once you get them to block this and respect your offense, it is, you know, it's your place to do whatever you want. But you need to get them to stop, you know, mashing in your offense. Let's look at another example here. So for example, Gran has an out of frame trap. So I can do the delay one, but if I press close light and then close medium, it is an out of frame trap. So she will get hit if she tries to press something. You know, something like that. You can really punish them hard if they try to press in your offense, if you structure it correctly and if you use your plus frames correctly. So let's just say that they are blocking again, right? So they just decide that, you know, I'm just not gonna press because they do a lot of damage with their combos, so I'm just gonna block. So you do 1, 2, 3, and now you're back here. So when you're back here, this is the next tip, it's not over. So your offense is not over once you're here. Even though, you know, you try to dash in, it is a risk, so it's not guaranteed to reset your pressure. But once you're here, it's not over. So you remember the neutral situation that I told you before, right? That you're walking back and forth, you're pressing your mediums, your minus, or your plus, depending on which one you press. This is a similar situation to that one, but here it is skewed in your favor because you have wiggle room to move back, but they don't. She's in the corner, so she cannot move back. And, you know, in this spot, if she presses or she tries to press anything, it's just gonna whiff, and I can whiff punish from here. I can do all my spacing traps from over here. And also, another big thing about this is that once you're here and they try to jump, oh, sorry. Let's say she tries to jump and attack. If you're in this position and she tries to jump, she will not get out of the corner. She will still be like in the corner, and not only that, but you're in the perfect spot to anti-air, which is, you know, the first tip. And in the corner, you can really, you know, crank up the damage from anti-airs. Something like that, right? So now let's talk about the verse, you know. Fighting games are obviously a two-player game, so, you know, being here is great, being in this position, just, you know, pressuring your opponent, doing your things, but sometimes you will end up in a situation like this, where you are the one in the corner. So, you know, what do you do in this situation? And my tip, this is a tip for defense, is to be patient and understand risk-reward. So, let's just say, you know, whatever I was doing to Vegeta previously, like, you know, doing this or doing this into a throw, doing this into this. When I'm the one in the corner, she can do the exact same things to me, right? So when you are the one defending, what can you do about this situation? Well, my tip is to be patient. You know, a lot of people try jumping because, you know, if you jump, you can maybe get out of the corner, and if you get a hit, you might do a corner combo, and as you can see, that is like insane damage. So, you know, a lot of people kind of try jumping, maybe some people try, you know, pressing a button. But as I've shown, once you're back here, you can do a spacing trap, so you can get them to whiff an attack, and if you're standing here and they try to jump, you can blow them up for it. If you're here, you really don't have to worry about your attacks missing, because you're close to the corner, you have wiggle room, so this is a great position to be in. So as a defender, apart from trying to jump, because I can try to jump but I won't get out of the corner if they're there. I can try to press an attack, but it won't always hit if they're spaced correctly. And I can just try to do other stuff, but my recommendation is, just be patient. You're not going to be blocking forever. At some point, your opponent's pressure is going to end, so you really want to wait for that. And if you can, for example, if you find yourself in a position like this, what I like to do is I'm just, walking and blocking. If you remember, if you dash, you cannot block, so you want to walk. If you're walking and blocking, you're kind of creating space until eventually you might be out of the corner, or you might put your opponent in an awkward situation, or maybe you can force them to take a risk, in which case you can blow them up. For example, if you're here and she tries to dash in, we saw that you can use your buffer cancels in order to stop dashes. If they try to, I don't know, maybe jump at you or something, because they're getting impatient. Of course, you can anti-air them and some stuff like that, right? So really, you just want to be patient. Just block. There is nothing wrong with just blocking, and it's a really good strategy, right? If you're blocking in Granblue is a really powerful strategy, because the only thing that can beat them is throws. And so if you're blocking correctly, you can correctly guess when a throw is coming. It is pretty apparent. Anyway, the final tip is more of a mindset type of tip, and that is to understand, what kind of game it is. So, I've talked a lot about this option is risky, this option is safe, and this is not really guaranteed. Like, for example, there is no guaranteed way to extend your pressure forever. Like, they can always do something about your pressure. You won't always be blocking forever, but there's also no guaranteed way to get out of the corner. You just have options that can work or they can't. And really, this game is all about that, right? Of understanding what is good and what can you do in certain situations. But you also have to understand that having plus frames, having minus frames, and taking risks is how you build a playstyle. So, for example, if you want to be just a nut and just jump at people and just dash all day, press all of your buttons in your face and do everything, that is completely valid. It's not like it's an incorrect playstyle. It is a risky playstyle, but it's not incorrect. However, if you're playing all risky, if you're just jumping at people and doing stuff, don't get surprised when you get anti-air. If you take a high risk, you have an equally high chance of just getting destroyed because of it. And if you want to play safe, you're just using your max range, you're just doing stuff that is plus and not taking a lot of risks, that is completely valid too. But don't get surprised when you're not getting 8600 damage, because if you're not taking a risk, you're not going to get a high reward. So really, the way that you want to build your playstyle is up to you, and what you can do with your character and stuff like that. But you have to understand that, if you want to take a risk by jumping, you also take a risk that you're going to get hit. But if it hits, you do your combo, you do your stuff. So you have to understand, when you have to be risky, when you have to be safe, when you have to just back off and throw fireballs, or when you want to dash in and do plus stuff. It is a very dynamic game, really, but you know, it's fun. You don't have to concentrate on all of this like from the very beginning. It's just a tip that I'm giving you, that you need to understand that, you know, a high risk is also a high reward, and a low risk is also a low reward. So, you know, just understand that aspect of the game. Anyway, that is it for me. If you like this kind of content, be sure to sub and leave a like, and well, I will see you in the next video if I do end up making one.